What's up, Infected? It's Wolf the Quarantine, and I have a review for a game that was sent to me by AEG called Istanbul the Dice Game. Now, Istanbul the Dice Game is my first kind of venture into the Istanbul game. I've never actually played the original, but the way Istanbul the Dice Game works is you're going to be using dice to try to be the first person to collect 5 or 6 gems, depending on the number of players. In order to get those gems, you're going to be either trying to match the different colors here, so you'd have to have 4, 5, or 6 of either green, yellow, blue, or red goods. You can buy the gems with money that you see here, or you can have one of every color, and then any number of goods based on how many are on here. So it's got an interesting little mechanic as well, where as I take gems off of this and goes up, it just gets more and more expensive. Same thing with the money. The first one is 10, but then after that it gets more and more expensive to go up. And then you can mitigate some of the luck in the game by taking different actions, by combining the dice to be able to get these blue gems that maybe let you re-roll dice, or maybe you get these brown goods that are just universal and they can count as any color good that you want. You can combine 2 of the same color to just get 1 permanent good that you can keep, because maybe you needed 4 or maybe you needed 3 to get what you needed, but you only rolled 2. So rather than let them go to waste, you combine them and get 1 good. But here's the kicker. Out of all the dice that you're going to roll, you only get to take 2 of the actions every turn. So you then have to, not only do you have the luck aspect there, you also have to figure out, okay, well, out of all these different actions that I can do, which 2 do I want to do? So yeah, with Istanbul, it is a fantastic little game, which is weird because I didn't think I was going to like Istanbul the Dice Game, because I don't really like dice games that much. I've given a couple of them good reviews, given a few of them bad reviews. I'm very finicky when it comes to luck-based games. Like, for example, Machikoro, I hated. Space Base, I like, because it takes the dice aspect, which I'm not inherently against, but it gives you mitigating factors, way you can mitigate that luck. Because in this game, you're going to roll 5 dice, or 6, 7, or even up to 9, I think it is, if you're insanely lucky. You're going to roll these dice, and now you got to look at these things and go, okay, well, which 2 actions do I want to do? So the more dice you roll, cool, you could potentially do really powerful actions, or you could just have a bunch of crappy actions you can take. So by allowing all of these different mitigating factors, where you got the blue gem to reroll any number of dice, you can combine things to get universal goods, you can use the little get money thing, I can't remember what the die is actually called. You can just get money, which if you have certain little tiles, when you use that action, you can just get free goods. So there's a lot of stuff. So it's an engine building dice game, really, because you're throwing these dice. You're gonna start off really crappy, and you're gonna be like, well, I guess I'll just do this, and maybe I'll get $2 and get a red good, because I'll combine these 2, get a red, and then use the money, and then boom, it's your turn. I only used maybe 3 of my 5 dice. I didn't even use all of them. But as you get going and you're, okay, now, I'm actually rolled what I needed, or maybe I've been amassing goods trying to get it, and now I can get this building that lets me do something cool. Or, which I forgot to mention, you have these cards, because sometimes you can, there's a little card symbol on the dice, and for every one of those card symbols, you're going to draw 1 card, but you only get to keep 1 of them to actually use. So I could maybe have 4 of those symbols. I only get to use 1 of them. So I flip over 4, but now I just have a choice. Okay, which one of these do I want? And some of them affect everybody, but some of them only affect you. And so it'd be like, if you have 2 brown goods, you can get another free universal good, which is awesome, or you could just get $1. So you don't want that second crappy option. You want to be able to do the top. But then the other ones where it affects everybody is, do you really want to give everybody some stuff? Even if it's a crappy version of what you got to do, do you really want to give everybody stuff? Because that just helps them too. And so there's a lot going on for such a simple, light little dice chucker game. Now, as with any game, the game does have some flaws. Of course, dice. If you're just heavily against dice games, even if there is mitigating factors, you just don't like rolling dice, definitely you're going to be turned off with this one. My biggest problem are these dice. I hate these dice. They're the same dice that Memoir 44 use, and I'm not a big fan of Memoir 44 either. But the problem I have with these dice they are wood, which feel nice. I actually really like with a wood dice because they're light, they feel really nice. The problem is all the art you see on these, that's just painted on. So if this game sees a lot of table time, then these are going to start fading off, and they're going to eventually be very difficult to be able to tell. The copy of Memoir 44 that I had bought used had the same problem, and you pretty much couldn't read like 3 of the sides of the dice. So that is definitely going to be a problem for some people, me being one of them. Now, one last minor gripe that I didn't have, but some people may wind up having with the game is there are a lot of symbols in the game, as you see right here. Now, a lot of these symbols make perfect sense once you understand what they mean, and there's not a ton of them, but because it's going to be very language independent. All you're really going to need is just to translate the rulebook, and then the rest of the game, there's no text anywhere else. It's all just symbols like this, which is really cool. I like that. But some people don't like the fact that there's no text saying what it does here. It took us a little bit to realize what this action does, and this is saying if you perform the action of that, you get this. And that's really it. So, but some people are definitely not going to like that. I know a few of my friends aren't a big fan of when games have symbols like that and don't state on the area. They feel like they have to go refer to the rulebook, and I understand that gripe. But once you play a game, a couple rounds even, you understand kind of what all those symbols are, and it's not that bad. Other than that, yeah, I definitely recommend Istanbul, the dice game. Fantastic little dice chucker, which really surprised me. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. When I pulled it out of the box, I was like, oh no, a dice game. And I wound up actually thoroughly enjoying this. I think we've played this probably a half a dozen times. It's quite a bit of fun. And then the fact that the board changes with, 3 and 4 players? Yeah, 2 and 3 players and 4 players. You have different sides of the board, which have different amounts on the backs as well. And it's a really cool game. And then the fact that if I see you're clearly going for money, I can go for money as well and just start making it more and more expensive for you. And same thing with, I see you're going after red goods, then I also go after red goods, and I just start increasing the price for you. And it's got a lot of really cool mechanisms that mesh really, really well together. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time in the quarantine.